What is up, everybody? It's the one and only Brotherhood Healing, and today we back with another video. But before I get started, I want to first shout out to YouTube because I finally figured y'all out. But really, it's a shout out to me because my plan worked. My scientific method worked. So I know what you want, and just know you gonna get it, YouTube. You gonna get it. You gonna get it for sure. All right. And second, I just want to give a big shout out to Nashika for being one of the only comments on under my previous video. So what Nashika commented, she had wrote a word, and then it was like she clipped a part in the video where I was talking about how when you're not able to sit in silence, there's a problem. And she said, I struggle with it on a daily, but I have a lot of hurt and resentment on the inside. I just don't want to deal with it. And so that is going to be our topic for today. So whenever you have hurt or resentment, it just means that you had a expectation of someone outside of yourself and they did not live up to that expectation. And oftentimes, whenever someone is not able to live up to an expectation, you are the one left dealing with the hurt and the resentment. That's because you had an expectation in your mind that someone was supposed to be a certain way or was supposed to move a certain way. I'll give you a story time. So this is the time when I had expectations, but realized I had to release them in order to truly get rid of any hurt against someone. So I remember I was going to a party. It was like me and a couple of friends. We were going out to a couple of parties that night. So we were at this first one. Like I said, I knew the location. I'm just like, yeah, I might slide. I might leave the party after. I wasn't trying to leave. So, and like I said, I was really just hanging with them. So I was like, you know what, I'll stick around. And then the party ended. And now they were like, okay, well, I know they said, oh, okay, well, there's another party down such and such. And so I was like, okay, I don't know where that is. So I'm gonna have to follow y'all. And they was like, okay, bet. So we leave to that party. And like I said, get to the party, having a good time, dancing, the whole nine. And I remember I was a little bit outside of the party. Like I said, I don't know why. I was just sitting, cooling, just walking around, getting some air. And then all of a sudden, that's when I seen these two people that was they was starting to, you know what I'm saying? One bumped into the other, and one dude, he was just like, yo, you could say excuse me. And then the other dude, he was just like, well, yada 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 yada. And y'all know how that go when it's 12 a.m. in the morning, people already ain't getting no sleep. People sleepwalking. And when you ain't getting no sleep, you get irritated. And then it don't help that people is drinking. So it's like 1 a.m. in the morning. These two drunk dudes started fighting. Next you know, gunshots go off. And so everybody's panicking, leaving to their cars, rushing out the place. And that's when my friends had left me. Like, these motherfuckers left me in the middle of nowhere because I didn't know where we was. I didn't know where we was, y'all. And all of a sudden, I was just taking different roads and I was ending up back in the same place like a merry-go-round. And I'm just like, yeah, nah, I can't do this. So Luckily, luckily, there was two cops on the other side of the road back where the party was. And so I went back there, and I luckily, like I said, I went up to him. Like I wasn't drunk or nothing, so I wasn't scared to go up to him. I was just like, hey, I'm trying to figure out how to get home. Like I said, my gas tank was on E too. That's the thing. My gas tank was on E. Like, I didn't even know if I was gonna make it home. So I went up to him. I was just like, officer, you know the best way to get home, to get to this place from here. And it was just like, yeah, take this road all the way down, and it's gonna lead you to a gas station, and you should be where you wanting to end up. And I'm just like, thank you. All right. And so, like I said, I was not speeding at all. Like I couldn't even speed. I was afraid to speed. I was afraid I was gonna use up the little bit of gas I had left. So whenever there was like a hill or something, I was just letting that thing cruise on down and pick up as much speed as it can before I press the gas. And so luckily I did make it to the gas station. I got and my phone was dead. So not only did I not have gas, my phone was dead. So, like I said, I was able to get to a gas station. I bought me a charger, bought me some gas, and I finally made it home. And the thing is, I woke up the next morning, I woke up pissed. I woke up pissed, y'all. And I thought they was going to text me back, be like, yo, you good? We were trying to find you. I could have been cool with that, but I ain't got no text. And so, I was like, okay. And in my mind, I was being petty. I don't think they caught on to it, but I was being petty. I was just like, yo, y'all good? And then it was like, yeah, we good. You good? And I was just like, yeah, I'm good. I ain't texting, but I was just like, no thanks to y'all, but I digress. And so, like, ever since that night, that was like my last straw. I did not do it. And see, this was like back when I was in high school. So I was hanging out with like people who were popular in a sense. Like they were the dudes in school. Everybody knew, you know what I'm saying? And then you had me, that was just a dude that went to the school. I mean, not to say that I wasn't popular, but I didn't have their type of popularity. I was more so like the popular loner. Like everybody knew me, but no one knew of me. And even then, like they didn't even know about like the popular dudes. You know what I'm saying? It's just they had their own ideas or beliefs or fantasies of them. They never actually knew them. And I remember like the main reason I was hanging around them is because, like I said, they were very popular and I understood the power of their popularity. And like I said, just knowing their story and knowing where they come from, like type of family they got, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to help them build business because not only were they popular, they were very, very talented in sports. Like super talented. I mean, they were just naturally athletic. Like I said, I was an athlete, but I had to work in order to get to where I was. They just had it naturally. And then it didn't help that these motherfuckers hit like a 4-foot growth span within a year. I remember because like I used to be taller than him at the time, and he was like just like short, skinny. I was like, this motherfucker, his ass ain't never getting any taller. But I think it was like this that that year, it was like our 8th grade year. It was our 8th grade year. This dude went from like 5. I think he was probably like 5'8". I was like 5'10" at the time. He went from 5'8" to like 5'11", and I'm just like, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. And this motherfucker didn't stop growing. He went from 5'11" in 8th grade, and then in my 9th grade year, this motherfucker shot up all the way to like 6'3", 6'2", and I'm just like, God damn. I was 6 foot, but I mean, granted, I'm still tall, but this motherfucker was tall, and motherfucker was dunking and shit. And yeah, like I said, just long story short, the motherfucker was a natural athlete. You can't beat him. And yeah, like I said, I was just hanging around them because I wanted them to get their businesses started, because I knew they was going to college. And like I said, in college, that's the best time to be building your brand, especially ever since the thing happened with the NAACP. No, not NAACP. I meant the NCAA. Sorry, y'all. The NCAA, ever since they allowed athletes to start building their personal brands and monetizing it. And ever since then, I was just like, hell yeah. Like, y'all don't have to wait to get into the NFL to build y'all's brand. And I was trying to build their brand. So that way, just in case, because like I said, nothing is ever set in stone. Even their football careers. Like I said, they are good, and I have no doubt that they'll get into the NFL. But like I said, life is chaotic, and things can happen to anybody at any given moment. And so I just wanted them to have a set foundation, even outside of football. Like, football could be their way to fame, notoriety, and monetizing it. But it doesn't have to be their end all be all. Because what happens, you know what I mean? Because what happens if things turn left, or if they don't even want to do it no more? Now at least they can still have business and a brand that they can fall back on, and then still afford to live good as if they were in the NFL. Like I said, we just had different priorities. They were just looking to have fun, this, that, and the third. And like I said, I can't want something for somebody who doesn't want it. Like I said, and this is when I had to step back and realize and bring it back to my expectations. I had too much expectations for someone that is not me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you have to realize that all the expectations that you have for another person, those are the expectations that you honestly have for yourself. So if you're wanting to see someone outside of you succeed, grow, get out of their situation, it's because you have that same capacity. You have the capability of doing the same, but you are just holding on to the hurt and the resentment from having those previous expectations. And now it is limiting you from doing what it is that you truly want to do. See, like I said, I do farmers markets on the weekend, and the guy that I do farmers markets with, he tells me all the time, like, yeah, I just don't want to do this farming thing anymore. And I'm just like, then why are you still doing it? And it's like, he can't give me the answer, but in my mind, I know why. Well, I don't know why, but I have my belief on why he doesn't want to go through with it. And see, the thing is, he's not tired of plumbing. I said plumbing. He's not tired of farming. He's just tired of carrying the most responsibility what that comes with farming. Because see, he tells me all the time how every time he goes to the produce auction, he's asking his brothers and his mom, like, yeah, what do y'all need from the market, and yada 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 yada, and no one ever texts him. And then whenever he brings the stuff back, then they're the first ones to dip into his bin and then take all his produce. Well, not all his produce, but they take a good amount of it and then leave him with a little bit. And like I said, just based on the type of person he is, because I can see the type of person he does everything. And then, like I said, his brothers get away with doing the bare minimum. So he's just, he doesn't, I don't think he knows it, or he's just not willing to admit it to himself, but he's taking on more, he feels as though he's taking on more responsibility, and he's reached his limit. And so he sort of gets tired of having to pick up the slack of his brothers or his mother or even his dad. Because like I said, out of all of them, he's the one that does the most to help his mom and dad. And like I said, that's just the thing. He's not tired of farming. He's just tired of carrying the most responsibility. But the thing is, I feel as though it all comes back to expectation. He's only not wanting to do it because he's expecting others to do certain things. Like, he has very high expectations of people, and oftentimes that gets him hurt because he expects others to do what he wants them to do. And it's just like, you have to understand that people are complex. We as humans are complex. So you have to realize, and that's another thing that helped me sort of with that situation that I told you about earlier in the video. I couldn't hold it against them. Granted, I knew why I was hanging around them. I was just a free ride because I drove these people around all the time. I was nothing more than a free ride for them to go to parties, go certain places. I was just a free ride. And so I had to be honest with myself. And that's another thing with getting over expectations. It's about being honest with yourself. Like I said, with me, I had to be real. Like, the only reason I was hanging out with them is because I wanted them to build business. And like I said, I was trying to get some business too, because then if they see that I'm helping y'all build y'all brands, then other brands are going to want to work with me. And so it's a win-win situation. And like I said, that's how I've always been. I've always been the type of person to have a win-win mindset. But if you cross me, it could get dangerous. Like I said, you'll go broke messing with me. I promise you. Don't ever mess with me or my money, because you will go broke. And I put that on Ashe. Anyways, like I said, you just have to be honest with yourself. That is the first key. Like I said, most of the time people are not honest with themselves, and it causes them to still keep up with the same expectation in their mind. And then they try to make themselves be the victim. But subconsciously, you already knew how these people or this situation was already going to happen. So now you're trying to play yourself as a victim. In all reality, you have to take accountability for what you can, and the rest you have to release. And releasing is not an easy thing. It takes a long, long time. And you have to build habits. Because see, with releasing, you have to reprogram. That's the only way you're going to release, is you have to do a lot of different things in order to build yourself up. That's another thing with having hurt and resentment. You tend to start losing out on your self-worth, your self-love, and then you start living for revenge. Do not live for revenge. Live for yourself. Because see, people will put themselves in situations just to prove that they were right and you were wrong. Life is too short to prove anybody right or anybody wrong. Because see, at the end of the day, the world that we exist in is dualistic. So anyone can be wrong. Anybody can be right on any given day. That's why I do not debate anymore. I used to debate heavy, but now I don't debate with anybody because I realize both parties can be right at the same time. And see, the thing is, the only reason that separates these two parties is perspective, because they're literally saying the same shit. I remember I was in a live one time with a couple of my friends, and they got into a huge ass debate. We was up to like 1 a.m. These motherfuckers was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's when I realized these motherfuckers were saying the same damn thing. Like, I don't know if they realized it. They was just going on and on. I think one of them understood, the other one didn't. But they were saying the same exact thing. It was just from a different perspective. They were arguing perspectives at that point, honestly. That's all any argument is. It's just arguing perspective. And you can't argue perspective because that's a subjective thing. It's not on an objective level. If it was on an objective level, it would fit all perspectives. But they weren't. At least one of them was not getting it. So you have to understand that when it comes to expectation and releasing expectation, one, you have to realize that people have their own things going on in life. People are not built the same as you. They don't have the same capabilities as you. They've had trauma as well as you that made them a certain way. Because see, the main thing that runs us, or at least mind-wise, is trauma, repetition, and symbols. Shout out to Brother Panic, R.I.P. Trauma, repetition, and symbols. Like, those things run your mindset. And so you have to figure out ways to reprogram the expectations you have, and only make sure that you have them for yourself. And you have to release the need of, like I said, once you reach a certain age, that's when I feel as though you should limit expectations. It's not bad to have them, but come into the expectation with the awareness that they're not the same as you. They don't think the same as you. And there's a thing called the curse of knowledge. So someone not knowing how to do something and you've been doing it for a while, it's easy to you, but it's hard for another because they've never done it before. So you have to give grace. That's another thing. You have to give yourself grace, and you have to give the other person grace, because they don't understand how to be a certain way, or they don't understand how you think or what you expect, because they haven't been in situations where they needed to be that way. So you can only forgive, just forgive and forget, and forgive for your own sake and your own health. Because like I said, you will put yourself in situations where you're constantly having to prove that someone could have done something. And that's all life ever is. It's just us trying to prove that we were right, or just prove that something actually can work. Yeah. So, like I said, just to sum it up, the reason why anyone goes through any type of hurt or resentment is expectation. And in order to get past it, you have to ask yourself why you have that expectation in the first place. Ask them, is it right for you to ask the person of this? And be real. Just please, if you're not real with anybody else, be real with yourself. Ask them, was it fair of you to have that expectation? And be real. If you say no, then you subconsciously knew that the situation wouldn't work, but you chose to go along with it anyways. And then ask yourself, where do I go from here? And so if you can't figure out an answer, just sit in silence and wait till an answer comes to you. And sometimes I know emotions are hard to process. So like I said, me personally, I have the capacity to sit alone, question my thoughts, analyze my thoughts, and then come to my own conclusion. Other people, they don't have the same strength or mental capacity to analyze themselves, self-evaluate, and then become aware of a situation. So it's always good to have another person. Like I said, my mother, she was just telling me how she goes to a counselor, and she said that it's always good to have an outside opinion, an unbiased opinion, which that it is. And like I said, I do the same thing. Like I said, because at the end of the day, it's an exchange. It's an exchange. You're telling someone about something, and then they can either choose to relate to it. Like I said, I tell my stories to see if y'all can relate to anything that I went through, and then give me feedback on y'all similar situations. This is what my YouTube channel is about, for y'all to interact and let me know some things that you went through and how you got through it. Because like I said, I'm only human. I'm still going through the stuff. But the difference with me is that I'm going through the stuff and I'm not allowing it to hold weight over my life. I just release it. And how do I release? I release through programming. I release through affirmations. You have to affirm yourself. You have to affirm, be like, I release all expectations of such and such. I release the need of such and such. I no longer need such and such. And you just do that. Just do it till you can't do it no more. And do it while you're exercising, because that's when the trauma part comes in. Because like I said, the mind is ruled by trauma, repetition, and symbols. Exercise is a form of trauma on the body. So whenever you're exercising, that's when you think of your affirmations. And like I said, once you do that, because see, it's almost like a reward type thing. Because see, you're able to sort yourself from your lower self and your higher self. Your higher self being the one that is getting in shape, working on their goals, working on their fitness. And then you have your lower self that wasn't working on their goals, felt powerless, had too much expectations of people that didn't have the same love and compassion as them. So, like I said, whenever you're doing your affirmations, just make sure that you're doing something strenuous, because see, that reverts to your lower mind, or your, I think it's called So you have the forebrain, the midbrain, or I'll just say the reptilian mind, because that's what they call it in science. That's essentially your lower mind. It controls your lower functions and desires, like the need to sleep, eat, shit, just survive, basic survival instincts. And like I said, once you reach down to that lower, and then you're telling yourself these affirmations, because like I said, the need to survive, it's it's basic instinct. So you have to do some type of exercise, because that's going to put you in a survival. It's going to put you in that fight or flight mode, because it's going to activate those same chemicals and such. And this is the perfect time to affirm to yourself. Because then once you reach the forebrain or the prefrontal cortex, that's when your emotions and such, they'll be able to have a good foundation, because then they'll be like, oh yeah, I just be feeling good just because I can feel good. I'm just walking around and I can feel good. So like I said, it's all about doing something to get over something. Like I said, because you can never release, you can just build new programming. That's the form of release, is building a new program. So like I said, start a hobby, even if you're bad at it, like this, like YouTube. This is my new hobby. I'm not really good with talking in front of a camera, but as you can see, I'm working on it and I'm trying to get better at it. And like I said, it all comes with practice, because you're not going to be perfect the first time. And like I said, and you can't measure your success off of another. That's another thing too, because that's how you get hurt, because you're having an expectation. Because what if one person is a tomato that only grows within 90 days? See, think of your success as like a tomato versus an apple. A tomato only takes about 90 to 120 days to fully mature and grow. An apple takes 2 to 5 years to grow, but you cannot measure that success, because see, this tomato plant, it's only going to produce one time. This apple comes from a tree that's going to produce for 12 years. So which one? It's all about longevity, people. Are you wanting to go with success that you get in 90 days, but you can't even harvest for a year, just a couple more months? Or would you want to go with success that takes 2 to 3 years, but you will have continuous success for years and years to come? I don't know about y'all, but I would choose the latter. Like I said, that sums up the video. If you like what I've been saying, please like, comment, subscribe, all that. Help a brother out, from a brother to a brother. Help a brother out. That's all I gotta say. And that concludes this video. Y'all stay up, stay healthy, and remember, health is your wealth. I'm out.